The African National Congress, ANC, once unshakable in its dominance over South African politics, now finds itself at the center of deepening internal divisions as President Cyril Ramaphosa's leadership faces mounting scrutiny. With the 2026 elections drawing closer, whispers of discontent have grown into open challenges, forcing Ramaphosa into the rare and uncomfortable position of pleading with party members to retain him as their presidential candidate. For years, Ramaphosa positioned himself as the reformer, the steady hand who would clean up the legacy of corruption scandals and restore public trust in the ANC. Yet, the reality of his presidency has been far more turbulent. Load shedding, economic stagnation, factional battles within the party, and ongoing allegations of mismanagement have eroded the aura of strength that once surrounded him. The Ramaphosa effect that gave the ANC renewed hope in 2018 appears to be fading, and his support base within the party has grown increasingly fragile. Insiders reveal that during recent closed-door meetings, Ramaphosa made direct appeals to senior ANC leaders, urging them not to abandon him in the run-up to 2026. His tone, described by those present as unusually defensive, highlighted his growing awareness that powerful factions within the party are preparing to push alternative candidates forward. Names of possible successors are already circulating, including those from both his allies and his fiercest rivals, each hoping to reshape the ANC's future leadership. The looming power struggle isn't just about personalities, it's about the soul and direction of the ANC itself. Ramaphosa's faction argues that his leadership, despite its flaws, remains the best hope for presenting the ANC as a unified, credible force. They warn that changing leadership so close to a national election would deepen perceptions of instability and risk fracturing the party beyond repair. Opponents, however, see his tenure as increasingly untenable. They argue that the ANC's dwindling popularity in recent municipal elections is proof that Ramaphosa has failed to connect with ordinary South Africans and failed to deliver on promises of jobs, growth, and accountability. What makes the battle more intense is the shifting political landscape outside the ANC. Opposition parties are capitalizing on public frustrations, forming coalitions and alliances that were unthinkable just a decade ago. The rise of smaller, issue-driven movements has further chipped away at ANC's dominance, meaning the party cannot afford a leadership crisis at this critical juncture. Yet, instead of rallying around a common vision, ANC leaders are consumed by debates over whether Ramaphosa remains the right figure to carry them forward. Observers note that Ramaphosa's plea reflects not only his vulnerability but also his deep awareness of history. The ANC has seen how brutal internal battles have destroyed unity in the past, and the stakes are higher than ever. A misstep in choosing its candidate could spell electoral disaster, potentially ending its decades-long grip on power. Still, Ramaphosa is not without loyal defenders. Some senior members stress that despite the frustrations, his calm diplomacy and steady demeanor remain assets in a country where political volatility is the norm. They argue that replacing him with a more polarizing figure could drive moderates away and accelerate the ANC's decline. But whether these arguments will be enough to quell the ambitions of those eyeing the presidency is far from certain. As 2026 approaches, South Africans are watching closely. The spectacle of the President of the Republic having to beg his own party for support has sent shockwaves across the political spectrum, raising questions about whether the ANC can present a united front or whether internal rivalries will tear it apart just as the nation heads into a crucial election. What is clear is that the ANC's identity crisis is reaching its peak. Ramaphosa's plea may have bought him time, but it has also exposed the fragility of his position. For many, the battle lines are drawn, and the countdown to 2026 promises not just an election, but a defining test of whether the ANC can survive its own power struggles and still claim to represent the will of the people.